All right, let's dive right in. Today's explainer focuses on what is undeniably one of the most profound dialogues in human history. We're talking about a text that is so much more than just an ancient scripture. It's literally an epic masterclass for navigating life's absolute toughest moments. We are exploring the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, famously known as the eternal song of the Supreme.
So what do you do when doing the right thing means facing your absolute worst fears? It's a heavy question, right? But listen, this isn't just some abstract, ancient, philosophical hypothetical. As we'll see today, this is the exact agonizing dilemma right at the heart of the Bhagavad Gita. It serves as a striking mirror to our own daily battles, those moments where our duties and our personal attachments violently collide.
To make this massive text easy to digest, our explainer today breaks the philosophy down into 5 core pillars: the ultimate battlefield dilemma, the core spiritual paths, beholding the cosmic form, decoding material nature, and the final surrender.
But before we unpack those themes, we've really got to grasp the sheer scale of this epic. Composed by the sage Veda Vyasa, the Gita is embedded right within the massive Mahabharata. The whole thing goes down on the Kurukshetra battlefield just moments before a devastating war. What we're actually analyzing here is a precise 18-chapter, 701-verse dialogue. It's spoken primarily between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna, while Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra act as narrators and listeners to this incredibly profound conversation.
Okay, Section 1, the ultimate battlefield dilemma. Let's set the scene right where this epic, high-stakes narrative truly begins.
The text opens with Chapter 1, which is aptly titled Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And Prince Arjuna, he is completely paralyzed. He's looking out across the battlefield at his own relatives, his teachers, his friends, and he's just overcome by immense grief and doubt. This isn't just a case of cold feet. It is a total physical and moral collapse right before the battle is supposed to kick off.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. Honestly, this is arguably the most crucial chapter of the entire text. Lord Krishna steps in, and he doesn't just offer comforting words. Instead, he instantly condenses the ultimate transcendental knowledge to snap Arjuna out of his despair. He lays the foundation right then and there, revealing the eternal nature of the soul. It completely shifts Arjuna's perspective from this temporary bodily grief to an eternal truth.
Moving right along to Section 2, the core spiritual paths. Having set the stage, Krishna doesn't just leave Arjuna hanging with abstract philosophy. He offers structured, actionable solutions. Krishna essentially lays out a menu of spiritual paths, or yogas. He emphasizes action through Karma Yoga in Chapter 3, which is all about selfless service. Then, in Chapter 4, he highlights Jnana Yoga, the path of transcendental knowledge. And later on, in Chapter 12, he introduces Bhakti Yoga, the path of pure devotion. By outlining these, Krishna is giving us multiple, tailored ways to actually navigate our complex duties in life.
Now, Chapter 5 tackles a massive point of confusion. It directly contrasts 2 key concepts: karma sannyas, which is renouncing action entirely, against karma yoga, which is performing actions with total detachment. Krishna makes it crystal clear: you don't need to run away and hide in a cave to be spiritual. You just need to act without selfishly clinging to the results of your actions. It's a total game changer.
Building directly on that idea of selfless action, Chapter 6 transitions into Dhyana Yoga. Here, Krishna reveals the exact practical steps you need to prepare the mind. You've got to understand action, practice the yoga of meditation, and attain absolute focus. It's a highly disciplined approach to mastering our own restless, jumping minds.
And that elegant mental preparation bridges beautifully into Chapter 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga, the path of the eternal God. Here, Krishna drops this incredibly profound insight. Our very last thought before death dictates our ultimate reality. So the discipline we build throughout our entire life is ultimately testing our ability to maintain spiritual focus in those final fleeting moments.
Okay, Section 3, Beholding the Cosmic Form. Now that we've covered the practical, day-to-day paths of action and meditation, let's see how this all builds into an awe-inspiring revelation.
Up to this point, Krishna has been playing the role of a guide and a friend. But in chapters 9 and 10, he zooms all the way out. In Rajavidya Yoga, the king of sciences, he explains how the entire material existence is created, maintained, and destroyed. Then in Vibhuti Yoga, he reveals his infinite opulences. He firmly establishes himself not just as a wise teacher, but literally as the principal cause of all causes in the universe.
This divine exposition peaks in Chapter 11 with a truly mind-bending climax.
Arjuna makes a massive request. He wants to see it. He wants to actually see Krishna's supreme form. And Krishna grants it in Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, revealing his infinite, awe-inspiring, universal cosmic form that quite literally encompasses all the universes. It is this terrifying, beautiful moment that serves as the text's ultimate demonstration of Krishna's supreme nature.
Coming down from that overwhelming cosmic high, we hit Section 4, Decoding Material Nature. We really need to understand how we fit into this vast universe. To decode our existence, Chapter 13 introduces a really clear analytical framework. It strictly distinguishes between the kshetra, which means the field, referring to our physical temporary body, and the kshetrajnana, the knower of the field, which is our eternal, conscious soul. Recognizing the difference between the vehicle you're driving and the actual driver itself, that is the very first step to true enlightenment.
So why do our bodies and minds act the way they do? Well, Chapter 14 breaks down material nature into 3 gunas, or modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Every single human behavior, thought, and habit is completely dictated by the precise mixture of these 3 modes in our lives. Understanding those modes leads right into Chapter 16, where Krishna explicitly categorizes human traits into divine natures versus demonic natures. And this isn't just about slapping labels on people. It's about providing a stark, clear moral compass for our own actions. It lets us observe whether our daily habits are leading us toward liberation or just dragging us into deeper bondage. Which brings us to our grand conclusion, Section 5, the final surrender. We've mapped out the battlefield, the spiritual paths, the cosmos, and human nature itself.
In the 18th and final chapter, Moksha Sannyas Yoga, Arjuna asks for one last point of clarification regarding renunciation. Krishna gives the ultimate, defining answer by contrasting sannyas and tyaga. He clarifies that true perfection is definitely not abandoning your societal duties. That's a complete misunderstanding of sannyas. True perfection is tyaga. It's simply surrendering your attachment to the rewards of your actions and dedicating the work itself to the Supreme.
Over the span of these exactly 701 profound verses, this extraordinary dialogue completes a massive shift. It brings Prince Arjuna, and by extension anyone reading it, from a state of absolute agonizing paralysis on the battlefield to a state of total, unwavering clarity and readiness to act.
The huge takeaway from this explainer is that the Bhagavad Gita presents an eternal guide to liberation. It teaches us that true freedom doesn't come from escaping our lives, but from fully engaging in them, through selfless action, higher transcendental knowledge, and an unwavering, humble devotion.
Because, let's face it, we all have our own Kurukshetra to fight every single day, where doing the right thing feels nearly impossible. As you step back out onto the battlefield of your own life today, armed with this ancient framework, the ultimate question remains: which of these paths, action, knowledge, or devotion, will you walk to find your own clarity? Let that sit with you.